We're live. We're live, man. Monday show. It's draft week officially. Man, I can't believe we're here. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. This journey's been so fast. Like I feel like it's like what we got to do the draft already, man. We're here, but it's gonna be a lot within the next couple of days. Going to Green Bay tomorrow. I'm actually flying out tomorrow, so there's gonna be a lot going on. But I still want to give my rankings. So while that won't be in this show today because that would just take too long, I do have some time to still kind of make that happen. I'm kind of just finishing up, making some tweaks, things like that before I really dial it in. We'll see how far we go with like certain positional groups. But that said, we'll have some sort of rankings coming out here soon, whether that's individual videos or one large video. Today, I wanted to kind of go back to something that we haven't done for a while. We a couple of weeks ago, or really over the last month or so, we've kind of done like we've thrown like a sleepers video, or we'd throw in like a hey, these guys feel like Lions kind of video. And for me, preparing for these rankings, right, I'm getting through a lot of these kind of more kind of borderline, I guess you would say, day 2, day 3 type of picks. And today I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about some of those, but I didn't know how to title it. So I went with 5 sleeper day 3 options because these were guys that I walked away and said, man, I gotta like these dudes. But maybe they don't fit a need exactly, right? So it kind of falls into, to me, a little bit more of the sleeper category, right? Maybe it's not like, man, we need that. So that makes sense why you put that position on here. It's not to say they don't make any sense. All right, I'll spoil it right now. I don't have any quarterbacks on this list. Okay, so I'll throw that out there. I also don't have any running backs on this list, so there's that as well. But I think they're more potential kind of sleepers because we haven't really talked about them that much. That's why I classified them as sleepers for today's video. We got 5 of them, and I also have an honorable mention that I'll throw in at the end, or maybe I'll throw it in the middle somewhere here. Now, the honorable mention is someone that I'm not really sure is going to get to day 3. I could see a path for him getting there. I don't really think it's going to happen though, but I really like the player, and I don't think he flashes consistently enough for me to be like, yeah, lock him in round 2, something like that. But the flashes that are there are so fun to watch. I'm like, man, I kind of want to talk about this dude. Just because if somehow he ended up on the Lions, it would be a lot of fun. So we're going to throw him in as an honorable mention. But before we get to that, let's go for the guys that I do believe are going to be day 3 draft picks. And let's talk about these guys. We got 5 of them. Let's go through 5 sleepers. You may have seen one. Well, you did see one in the title. I actually threw a couple different thumbnails out there. But let's get things jumped right off on the defensive line. Let's get things started right on the defensive line. And we're going to go right here with my man, Cam Horsley out of Boston College. Look, interior defensive line, one of these spots where I think it's pretty strong, man. You get to early day 2, it's pretty strong. It could be strong through day 2. I like the depth of this group. I like this as a spot for day 2 to take your swings. That said, though, that means there's going to be guys that kind of slide through, get to day 3. And it wouldn't be a shock whatsoever for me if Cam Horsley does go to day 3. I think he's a day 3 player. He's probably more of a round 6, 7 type of guy, maybe round 5. Maybe he pushes his way up there. But regardless, like I'm pretty confident this guy's going to end up being a day 3 pick. That said, though, when I think about what the Lions look for, when I think about what the Lions would value from a defensive lineman, I wish I felt a little bit more consistent explosion within his game upfield, or obviously, if there's a more diverse way to win as a pass rusher, that would help a little bit, but then he probably wouldn't be a day 3 pick. He also has a little bit of a awkward build, right? He's not like the thickest interior defensive lineman either, right? He's a little bit leaner in his game, but he's very long. You see the arms in that picture shown. He's got a lot of length to his game, which he utilizes. I know the Lions value that length from interior defensive linemen. They've told us that in the past, but I also like kind of the scheme idea here, right? I like the potential fit with a guy like Cam Horsley. Now, there's a clear red flag, and it felt like teams could just kind of go at him with wide zone plays. I mean, wide zone stretch plays, whatever you want to call it, anything that made him travel laterally, sideline to sideline, you felt like there was issues. It's like, oh man, this guy's going to fall out of his run gap. That's a problem. He's going to fall out of his spot. Or, oh, wow, too often he's playing well beyond the line of scrimmage. Guys are pushing him backwards. And some of that could be hand usage, early positioning. Like too many times you feel him go back 2 or 3 yards and like, that's not great. But then there's also the flip side where you see the flashes of really good. And this is both run and pass game for me, specifically against run. It's that ability to flash, the ability to hold ground against double teams, create a little bit of anchor. He does a nice job playing pretty wide. He handles single blocks pretty well. He can actually live behind the line of scrimmage against single blocks because he plays with that kind of knockback into the point of attack a little bit as well, where he can live a little bit behind the line of scrimmage. And as a pass rusher, it showcases. I mean, if you look at the guy's stats, he nearly had 8% pass rush win rate, and he does that without really showing much of a way to win. Like there's no real counter to his game. It feels like he's kind of just pushing guys upfield, but he shows that ability. There's a real drive and a real walk back that he can create and create real momentum and real leverage going upfield to be a little bit more of a bull rusher. And that's where the length comes into play, which he taps in well. And also as a run stopper, 14.4% run stop rate. He's very productive. Now, sometimes you'll get him kind of falling out of gaps again, getting into spots where he's not even in the play anymore. So it's much more of a flash kind of piece right now for me with Cam Horsley, but I also think that's kind of why you're drafting him where you're drafting him in this year's draft. So while the production's there, he's a little bit more of a flash player for me, and I could see him maybe wanting to build up a little bit some of that strength, but he does show flexibility. He can play pretty comfortably in kind of that 2-eye alignment, which we've asked our guys to do, but he's played the zero tech if you go to Boston College, which we've done at times as well, head up over a center, which we've asked of the DJ Readers and the Braddock Martins and Chris Smiths over time. So for me, I think the length, the athleticism that does showcase is adequate. And then also he's a productive player. So Cam Horsley could fit stylistically. You just got to dial in some consistency there, but that kind of makes him a day 3 pick. He was an early flash. A lot of these guys, they kind of have to grow on you a little bit, right? You got to watch them a little bit. You kind of got to like find the things that are going to be the things that you can bet on. Didn't take long for me with Cam Horsley, right? I was pretty engaged early. I was like, you know what? This is interesting, right? I see the problems. They're very visible, but there's a lot of interesting things here for a day 3 pick. So that's why he falls on this list. He's got a really nice build. I maybe just fill out the frame a little bit more. We'll see if he can get to that level though, and hopefully maintain some athleticism there because he just looks a little bit too lean for me. All right, move us on to number 2. Again, these are really in no particular order. I'm kind of just rolling through guys here, but they're all players that caught my eye when kind of, finishing up some of these rankings. And we do have honorable mentions. If we do have time, we'll kind of dive into those as well. But the next one's weird. I'm just going to let you know, I felt weird putting him on this list because it's not that I don't like the player. I do like the player. I just don't know if I love him for the Lions from this perspective. Okay, we're going to go to the linebacker position. And a lot of linebackers on day 3, you're going to have questions about the instincts and the feel of the game, the play speed, not even the play speed, because the play speed taps into kind of the football intelligence, the awareness, just kind of the feel from that position. You get a lot of the grades where you're like, oh, that's not great. That's what I had a lot with my off-ball linebackers. But one guy that I won't say he makes up for it, but he definitely has the athletic traits that still intrigue you when you get to day 3 is, of course, he's coming from this school. I mean, of course, this is what they do. It's Smael Mondon, or I think it's Smael Mondon Jr. Smael. I think it's Smael. I actually don't know. I think it's Smael. I read that. That's got to be Smael. That sounds pretty good. Don't know if that's right or not. That is a low grade for me, right? I think he's below average in kind of the feel for the game. And it does slow things down. His play speed to me is closer to average, which is an issue for that because when you consider as athletically, he's 6'2", 225. He is 23 years old, so he's a little bit on the older side. He's got length that I can work with, just under 32-inch arms as well. Dude ran a sub 4.6 40, right? So the timing that you have there, the broad jump was insane. He's got big hands as well. There's a lot of those things that I like. He's kind of built like a running back that plays the linebacker position as well. Like that's kind of the look that you get from him. I personally like him in space. When you're able to kind of put him outside the tackle box, I think you get better reads. I think you get less inconsistencies that constantly pop up when things are happening really fast, when he's dialed in between the tackles, when he's playing over a B gap, and you have to have him reading things quickly and playing through that fast. That tends to kind of slow everything down, I think, the more between the tackles you make him live. But all of a sudden, as soon as you put him outside the tackle box, you let him work in a space a little bit. Maybe you put him over a slot receiver. He has the athleticism to kind of live in those areas. Maybe for the Lions, that's, hey, let's put him on the ball a little bit. And while, again, he doesn't have like the typical build of an edge rusher, he also does have enough here for a linebacker that could step down the line of scrimmage if you feel comfortable about it. And some will backers will kick outside the box a little bit at times. And he can step down the line because of the length that he has, because of the real stoutness that he plays with. And that's actually one of my favorite aspects of his game. That's part of the reason that I put him here is because he's very stout at the point of attack. Like I said, look at him. He looks like a running back. If I didn't tell you he was a linebacker, you might think just looking at the picture, like, yeah, he's probably lined up to get a handoff right now. That's how he's built as a player. And that shows up with how stout he is at the point of attack. And I've gone across, I mean, every linebacker I feel that I've gone across that the Lions have drafted, outside of maybe James Houston a little bit because of the position, they were all super stout. Like that Malcolm Rodriguez, he was undersized, right? Not very long, but man, he was strong as heck. That dude was stout on entry. You obviously had that with Jack Campbell as well. Not the longest, but he was very stout when you hit him at the second level. Chris Paul, we know they brought him in for a visit. He's very stout in the way that he takes on blocks. Mondon also carries that to me as well. And I think the Lions value that. Derek Barnes, very stout, right? Where everybody the Lions have typically drafted as linebackers have that in their game, right? These guys aren't the flimsy pieces that are going to get pushed around. They kind of get peeled off the play and you're like, all right, he's not really in his spot anymore. That's not what he is. Now, between the tackles, a lot of work that's going to have to be done, but then you get to some of the coverage upside. And again, if you're talking about a potential day 3 pick, which who knows? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a weird linebacker room where you have like a top group, it feels like, but there is some age. Like Demetrius Knight's not a young linebacker. This is a 22-year-old linebacker. When you get to kind of this linebacker room, I mean, once you get across like Carson Schweschinger, and if a Demetrius Light goes before him, all of a sudden I think you get into some open air where you're like, all right, we can have a conversation about who's next. Like, we can have a real conversation because even, some teams may love Chris Paul because of some of the upside traits. It's not all there right now. I still have some play speed issue, all those kind of things. Like, to me, a lot more categories are average. I don't think there's a massive gap when you get kind of beyond that piece at linebackers. All of a sudden, I think everything kind of gets into play here. I assume this will be a day 3 pick, but I'm not even that comfortable saying for sure that he will be a day 3 pick because he has those capabilities. And to me, he's much better in man coverage because the responsibility feels a lot less on feel, kind of anticipation, getting in the right position, and control. But it's more so about covering one guy, right? Go deal with that guy. Can you deal with the running back out the backfield? Yes. Does he have the speed to go play him on the sideline? Absolutely. To me, slightly above average in man coverage right now, right? He's got the closing speed. You put him on tight ends. Now, he may be a little bit outreached when you're talking about dealing with tight ends specifically. And he also can, kind of put himself in some not great positions because he can be a little bit lax on fluidity sometimes when he's kind of working to mirror routes. But he can also blitz a little bit. Not great, but he's a nice stump blitzer. He's a nice delayed linebacking blitzer where it's like, okay, we bring him late. We let the kind of the mess happen, and then we kind of just slip him through. And he's got some of that slipperiness. And he's got some of that strength where it's like, all right, once he gets an edge, he can kind of just find his way to the quarterback. But he also has the other element, which is he's got really good timing, right? He's got a really nice feel for being a blitzer and kind of like, okay, let me be very sudden with this. And boom, there's the opening on my back. He's a great finisher. He tackles well. He doesn't miss many tackles at all. Special teams is going to be immediate for him. It's just, where can you get beyond that? The traits say, hey, this guy could get on the field. Like, this looks like an NFL athlete, but the consistency doesn't say that. That said, though, because you're going to have to find the right role for him early, he's a special teams piece that works for day 3. And that's why Smael, I don't know if I'm saying it right, Mondon Jr. out of Georgia ends up on this list. Okay, now let's go a different direction. I want to back it up. I want to go to the thumbnail. I think it was the thumbnail. I don't know. I had a couple different pictures there. Let's go here. We're going to stay in the SEC. Let's go to Zy Alexander out of LSU. Do the Lions need a cornerback? Well, I wouldn't say so. Not really. I mean, maybe not, right? So then you also look at guys and like, all right, which guy can maybe go to safety? And we have one of those on this list that really, really intrigues me. I don't know that this player is going to go to safety at the next level because I don't know that he has to, which is a positive. So for me, 6'1", 190, he's one of the more He's one of the guys that'll stand out when you're watching. Like, immediately you're like, all right, this guy looks different than a lot of these other corners, especially on day 3. So there's actually, what, one of my biggest takeaways when putting these rankings together, cornerback is a lot deeper than I thought it was. I'm not saying it's great, but I think cornerback's got some depth this year. Okay. Now everybody's got their issues. Some guys, maybe they're a little more athletic. You're like, all right, that's pretty good. Everything else is pretty messy. But I think there's real depth to the cornerback room, and that doesn't mean everybody's going to be a hit. But a team can walk in, find a guy that they like, and get out of day 3 with a cornerback. I think that's very possible. Maybe some flexibility, maybe some returning upside. I think that's on the table. And for me, Zy Alexander is one of the more interesting ones. He's coming off an ACL tear in 2023. He stands out by the way that he's built. Like I said, over 6 foot, 190 pounds. And to me, where he thrives, I actually really like him in press coverage. Now, some people may like him a little bit more kind of in that half-turn environment, which I also think he's good. I think he's good in both of those categories. Maybe he has a chance to get day 2. I don't really see that being the case for him getting day 2. The 4.5, 640 doesn't exactly help out. But to me, he plays with some speed. You do see the long speed show up as a legitimate issue, though. And we've seen guys kind of go at him a little bit and guys just stack him vertically where you walk away like, this is a concern. This is a real concern. People just running past him. And that to me does show up, and also shows him on how early he has to kind of turn and run. You'll see it in cover 3 when he's playing kind of the backside and he can't really recover back into the play from the backside of one of the deep thirds, right? He can't give middle field support. He tries to, but he can't really get there. Or maybe he's got to balance a number 1, number 2 receiver. You just don't see some of that close to really get to that spot. But he also shows a really nice 10-yard split. So there is a burst to his game. It's just the long speed actually legitimately does show up as an issue. But what I like as well is he's physical. He'll tackle. There's a physicality to his game. There's other guys that will hit, but the angles they take are awful. You're like, I can't really trust this. I don't have as much of that issue here with Alexander. There's some little nitpicking things like where he'll leave his feet. A lot of cornerbacks do that anyway. But I do like how he fights. He maintains leverage as a run defender. Again, he's got stoutness where he can really shed blocks. You see it within his build, and that shows up on the field. To me, I like his open field tackling. I like how he settles himself down. He could just be a little bit late to find the ball. Sometimes he's just tracking the receiver, and he's not finding football, not getting himself actually into the play. But I think he's a plus player in zone and a plus player in press coverage. And a lot of that comes back to some of the balance, not really lunging, right? Some of the fluidity. You'll see there's real length, which allows him to not only land some jabs as the line of scrimmage, but also kind of stay balanced in those spots as well with this movement. I don't think, sometimes his footwork's always the best off the line, right? And you could see that some of the depth that he covers can be a little bit of a problem as well. It's like very patient, which can get him into some problems. I think you put him on some quick receivers, you could have some more issues, especially if he can't connect, and that's not always his game. So there could be real inconsistencies early if you let him just live in press. I think there's enough inconsistencies here. This is going to be a day 3 pick. That's kind of where I'm landing on all of this, right? And he's got some ball skills. They're adequate, man. He's a big guy. He gets on your hip. You take a vertical route, he'll get on the hip of a receiver and he'll just take him out of play, just wall him out of play. He's physical and try to kind of push you out of the play. My problem is with this play speed, he'll start looking back for the ball, and it's like, dude, you're just getting outran. You got to stop doing that. That's a problem. He'll give some space at the catch point. That's a problem as well. And again, some of that's due to kind of protecting himself a little bit over top as well. Dealing with back shoulder passes to control could be a little bit of a problem. We'll see that from high picks. That becomes a real issue. It's a day 3 pick. I can take a flyer, especially with his length, though. But he does. He wants to push you out of bounds. So when he lines up the timing well, he does really well at the top of the route. So for me, it's Alexander. I don't know that he actually needs to switch positions. A team could view it as that. I think he can live at corner. You will have to have the right fit for him, though. But he's a player that I like. I like a lot of the skill set within his game, and I'm curious to see how this works out if he can find some snaps on the defensive side of the next level and not just be a special teamer, because I do think he could be a special teamer as well, which I guess is a theme of a lot of these guys, a lot of these dudes. I'm like, it works. He's playing special teams. That's pretty good. We could do that. Maybe make him a jammer, right? I mean, he's long. Make him a jammer. Make him just deal with gunners off the ball. We can do that. He's not the fastest, but I don't know. I mean, if he gets his hands on him, maybe a little grabby. I don't know. Do what you got to do. So he comes out on this list next. Okay, we got 2 more before we get to our honorable mention. And that's because, again, I don't think he's going to go day 3. But let's move on to, this was the thumbnail. I know this was. We'll go to Nohl Williams out of Cal. Now, this is one that I'm a little bit different on because I like his game, but I actually think Nohl Williams is a candidate to go to safety. I get the sense that this guy at safety would be a lot of fun at the next level. I think you can minimize some of his weaknesses. I don't think he's the perfect, like, oh, that guy just screams safety. But I do think he's got enough skill set here where it'd be like, I would like to see what that would look like. And if we're thinking about the Lions, probably the most likely option. I mean, we're talking about safeties. We know they need safeties. If you did go with the cornerback, a guy that you feel like maybe he has a skill set to do that would make some sense. Now, I do wonder about like, okay, hey, if we put him at single high safety, does he have the range to deal with it? That would concern me a little bit. Not reliably concern me. I mean, his testing scores are fine. The 4.50 flat, that works for me. Sub 7 second 3-cone drill is pretty good. 19 bench press reps showed the strength. Actually, a lot of his testing. Here's where I'm going to give you all a comp. I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Testing wise, Ify Melifonwu coming out ran the same exact 40 time, both at a 4.50 flat. Ify Melifonwu coming out had a 7.01 3-cone drill. Nohl Williams had a 6.97 3-cone drill. Now, Nohl Williams is built a little bit smaller, but not by much. Nohl Williams 6.03, 199, and you had Ify at 6.024, so a couple inches taller, 205. So in terms of makeup, not a huge difference either. And Ify also posted 16 bench press reps to the 19 by Nohl Williams. So for me, not exact, but I can draw similarities between the two when you get down to it. And we know that Ify was a pretty big press corner in college, and obviously he translated out of that and did pretty well in time. And I think it would take time for that to work. I think his reactive athleticism to me is a little bit closer to average, but the big part is going to be he has got ball skills. This is a guy that you just don't want to test. One of the games that I went through was Auburn. They went at him like 3 times and he picked it off like every time. Now he's also gotten beat too, but it was like, okay, maybe don't throw it to that guy anymore. He just keeps taking the ball away. He's got big time ball skills. That's going to be something that people will buy into. I think at the next level, he's physical. He's very physical through the threat stem. He wants to kind of body guys up. I like the idea of putting him on tight ends. I think that'd be a good matchup for him, just the way that he plays, his play style. To me, he kind of plays the wide receiver really well when he's kind of working on the sideline. He's got a nice little underhand technique. He's very natural as a pass catcher. I like his ball skills, which it helps me translate here. And then again, there's some physicality to his game as well. You see him kind of punch at the ball when he tries to tackle a little bit. There's some issues here, right? Some things we want to see dialed in. I would like to see him shed blocks a little bit better. If that was more consistent, I'd probably be higher on this potential transition, but he does finish pretty well as a tackler. And then where I like him in coverages, I think he's slightly above average in everything except for zone. I think he's a good zone coverage corner. So I actually think he's a pretty well-rounded positional player. We wonder if some of the reactive athleticism is going to hold up kind of at the next level as a full-time corner. That's kind of where I'm at with it is will that hold up, right? He's strong. He's powerful in the upper body. He'll kind of jab guys off the line of scrimmage. He's ready. He's got ready feet. He's got some mirror movement that way he can deal with like speed releases, for example. And then you put him in zone coverage. And to me, I like the depth that he plays with. He kind of sit in between a couple of different routes as well. There's some issues I have to overplay things a little bit, right? And you'll see some issues in cover 3, right? He'll get pressed a little bit. But to me, I think if you put him at safety, you could have something maybe. So I just think it's interesting. The Lions are going to take a swing. Oh, and also his play speed to me, again, is slightly below average, which, again, is a concern, but it also could make this transition make some sense a little bit as well. Like double moves were a problem for him, right? We saw that be an issue. Recovery acceleration to me also shows as an issue as well. The explosion there. I don't know. I think it's something to consider. I think it's something to consider. And if the Lions are going to go with a defensive back guy that could potentially get there eventually, might make some sense. And again, especially in his value. All right, cool. Let's go on to our final player that we have on this list. Coming in at number 5. Look, man, this actually was a recent one for me. Let me make sure. Yeah, I got his notes right here. And I'm not sure this goes day 3. I think it will. Especially when you consider the injuries, ACL injury, foot injury. Not sure it goes day 3, but I think it will. I think he has a case to be back in of round 3. To me, from what I've seen, I'm actually I'm a big fan of this dude from watching him now. So we're gonna go here to not that one. That's not the right graphic. This one right here. All right, we're gonna go here to Mitchell Evans out of Notre Dame. Yeah, 6'5", 258, which obviously I love to build. If I wish I loved this run blocking more. Okay, there's tight ends that I definitely don't like as much. Benjamin Urosek comes to mind. Oh my goodness, I like his run blocking. I'm like, I can buy into some stuff here. I think that's there. Put on a little weight. We got something. But then as a pass catcher, you're like, I don't really buy much here. Mitchell Evans, I do buy into, like, okay, this guy could be a receiving threat. I definitely wish he was a better run blocker, or really just a blocker in general. I think that he could potentially bring some pass pro to the table a little bit as well, but the lunging and the hand plays, all those things need work. The blocking just isn't great for me, right? It's below average. And obviously, I'd want that to be better. The positive is he's built out a little bit better to maybe get there, right? You're not saying, okay, how do we put on 15 pounds? He's big and he's athletic now. And those two things tied together does work. It's like, okay, there's not a lot of like risk of like, okay, can we get him to a certain spot? He's going to have that. To me, he's a good receiving option with very good hands, right? You see it from the body control. There's a naturalness to him as a pass catcher, which I like. There's a radius to his game. He got to scoop passes, save some passes as well. There's some build-up speed when he's working through the ball a little bit as a pass catcher. He kind of strides a little bit through his footwork when he's kind of getting out of route. See him level 1, level 2. He can separate on multiple levels as an option. And I like that for what I would look for the Lions tight end, a guy that can kind of open up the intermediate level of the field a little bit. And I think you see even when he sinks his top of the route, a little bit of craftiness, a little bit of shake to his game to kind of open himself up a little bit. So now I would like to see his footwork off the press get a little bit better, but I think there's enough athleticism there to potentially tap into. Like, okay, he's got a little juice off the ball, though. There's more that we can get to. He's got the body control. You'll see him working through traffic a little bit, some of the upper body movement where he can kind of dip and duck himself around traffic a little bit. It's pretty fluid, man. So for me, I think when you think about the receiving upside in day 3, it's hard to find that consistently with a guy that's not 225 pounds, right? You're looking at dudes that are just undersized. And Mitchell Evans does get himself to day 3. I think he'd be a high day 3 pick, and you'd want a lot more as a blocker, no doubt. You'd want a lot more there, right? Just from consistency. I think there's some core strength. You'll see sometimes like on the backside of runs, to be able to kind of flip his hips, get himself around, create like a seal down, create a hinge block maybe at times as well. But outside of that, there's a lot of issues. Like he doesn't play with his base as much. He kind of blocks everything with his upper body, which is a problem. He doesn't keep his feet on the ground consistently. It's pretty messy when he's trying to sustain blocks, trying to create a drive. None of those things really connect for me. But that said, he's big. He can run routes. He can get himself open, and he's a nice pass catcher. He's a good athlete, man. He's good. The testing wasn't insane. He had okay arm length, 4.7, 440. He did have a great 10-yard split, though. Like, if that's official, great 10-yard split at 155 for his 40 time. The 3 cone wasn't great either, but he just plays better body control, right? And you'll see his basket. It's just natural. So for me, that's a good option. Now, that knocks out our top 5. I do want to transition real quick because I knew we'd have a few minutes afterward just to kind of go to a player that he's probably going day 2. And I'm not even sitting here like advocating that, this has to be a round 2 guy. Like, he's had a lot of buzz, rightfully so. I haven't seen it flash or be as consistent as I would like to see. And I've also obviously seen the limitations, whether that's one because of the quarterbacks that's throwing to him and the passing offense. Sometimes you're just frustrated. Like, what is this? What am I watching? Can we get a better, can we get him the ball better? But then there's also the element for like, okay, there's issues here. Like, he doesn't have much radius as a pass catcher. So it's like you throw it to him, things are getting batted away a lot. That said, though, I think he's going to go day 2. There's been a lot of buzz. And I can't help but watch and be like, man, this would be fun. This would be fun. All right, the Lions end up doing this. This would be a lot of fun. I think that there's a case for him going day 3, very early day 3, just from a consistency side. Sub 30-inch arms, that's another big reason for that as well. He's only 5'10", 194. And the honorable mention is going to be Jaylin Noel. It's going to be Jaylin Noel from Iowa State. Yeah, to me, all right, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. He when he flashes, when he's at his best as a Lions fan, sometimes I feel like I'm watching a little bit of Golden Tate. Sometimes I'm like, that looked like something Tate would do. He would cook that dude off the line just like that, right? And the play speed that pops, the ability off the line of scrimmage. And there's issues that I have, like in a lot of different areas. But I keep telling myself when I'm watching him, don't forget the guy's a rookie. Don't forget you should expect development. And that's a big reason why I also feel like this is a potential day 3 pick. I don't think he'll go day 3, but if he did, it'd be fun. And that's why he's an honorable mention. I don't think he will, but I think that you could also end up in a position of overdrafting. Like, it wouldn't shock me if this guy got overdrafted this year and I felt like some team overdrafted, because the flashes are awesome. But you could sit back and be like, man, somebody may have just taken too much of a flyer at that point. Like, you taking him round 2 at 52 may have been just too much, bro. Like, I get it. It's fun, but it's not worth the pick, man. Shout out to the real Ned Kane in the building. How you doing, man? We're talking about our honorable mention. We'll recap at the end here, which is Jaylin Noel for this video. I don't think he's going to go day 3, but I definitely wanted to throw him in here because that is the vibe that I get when I see him. And I like what he does with the ball in his hands. There's other guys here, like Jalen Lane, to me is also not the same player, but I see the toughness in his game. I just wish there was a little bit more of a route tree to kind of bite into and kind of buy into a little bit here. But the second year speed, the vertical speed, the way that he kind of works, the agility through traffic, right? Kind of just bouncing around. The athleticism testing was outstanding for the player, right? There's some suddenness to his game. He really has some ability to separate, right? There's some limited route trees, but he can tie it all together. He can get off the line, separate at the top of the route, and then finish through the ball. Show some of those hands that you like. Hands on the body are reliable. He doesn't have much of a catch radius, which gets him into trouble a little bit as well, but he'll kind of speed through the ball a little bit, kind of speed himself up. He attacks the ball when it's thrown into traffic, so he'll kind of take it away or at least knock it down from defenders. He's not going to sit back and be passive. You trust him over the middle of the field in those spots as well. I just get vibes of that, from release to the route to once the ball is in his hands at a different pace. But if you remember, Golden Tate was a back end of round 2 pick. He was another great athlete as well coming out. Maybe tested a little bit worse, but I was trying to go crazy there. But he's a little bit bigger, which is the difference too, right? He's a little bit bigger. I mean, Noel is just a small receiver, but I think he's different than like a Khalif Raymond. Like, Khalif is a vertical, he gets linear, that kind of thing. I get different vibes a little bit here from Noel, so I don't think it's the exact same. Now, that's not to say it's a bad thing. Like, if you got a guy that you felt like could replace Khalif Raymond at some point, which is not going to be easy to do, by the way, physical, vertical speed, run block, maybe that is Jaylin Lane. If you had a guy like that, then there you go. Like, that would make some sense. But I think there's a little bit of differentiating from Jaylin Noel here. So, let him fall to the back of round 3. And then all of a sudden we start to have a conversation where the Lions are sitting there at the back of round 3 and they're like, maybe move up. Maybe move up and grab him. Hey, I'm not against it. All right. I think day 2 has some nice receivers, by the way. It's all going to be about the style that you want. There's not a guy that I felt was consistently dominant. Everybody's got issues when you get to day 2. Honestly, you can say thing about day 1 receivers to an extent, but day 2 does have a lot of different styles, and there's a lot of different styles that I like here, right? I'm a Jack Besh guy. I think we'll go higher than Jaylin Noel. We'll see, though. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. But if you find the style that you like, then, take your swing. So to recap, before we get out of here, the 5 that we had was Cam Horsley out of Boston College, an interior defensive lineman that has some flexibility on the inside. Probably want to build him up a little bit more, but to me, feels like a back end of day 3 type of pick. It'd be fun in this defense. I think he could fit a little bit. Smael Mondon Jr., who's at the Senior Bowl out of Georgia, right? Athletic linebacker that, I want him to feel the game a little bit better, but at the same time, I want that with most of my linebackers. Unless I go to like a Kobe King, who I think feels the game well, but there's just legitimate limitations. Like, I don't even know if I can put this guy in a man coverage. I mean, he feels the game, and I don't even know if I can put him in a man. He might just get cooked left and right. I don't know what I can do with him. So we have him in there. We got Zy Alexander out of LSU, fun cornerback to watch. One of the more standout cornerbacks, size-wise. Athleticism shows up a little bit, except for some of the vertical speed. Nohl Williams, I think he could be a safety transvert. Transvert? I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I'm looking for a word that makes sense. It doesn't make sense. He could be that, though. Whatever that word is, he could be that. And then we wrap it up with Mitchell Evans out of Notre Dame with our honorable mention being Jaylin Noel. So, man, Bleacher Report, shout out to everybody over here right now. Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's the time for our next show. Then the draft on Thursday. And then I don't know where to go from there, but I mean, then it all happens. So my plan is over here for that time to maybe do like some sort of predictive mock, just kind of do like my last, because I think I may just do it on both, where it's like, hey, predictive mock Wednesday, bam, there it is, day before the draft. This is my guess for the 7 rounds for the Lions in the draft. And, we'll probably have things come like that over as well on the YouTube channel before then. But at very least, I want to have my rankings to a really good spot, and I'm getting close. But I got a little bit of time. But over the next couple of days, you should at least see some sort of content, whether that's individual videos or one as a whole. We'll see. But overall, I'm going to leave it there. Appreciate y'all joining over here on BR, man. And I'll see you guys then Wednesday. I'm out. And yeah, we should be good, man. We should be good. All right, chat. We wrapped it. Okay. So yeah, rankings coming. Not here yet, but they're coming soon. We'll see. I don't know. I thought I wanted to break everything up. I don't know if it's going to happen. But I think that I think that it could hopefully a Tuesday on the worst, right? I think a Tuesday we're going to potentially see drops. The problem is I'm going to be flying. So I don't know like what connection is going to look like to actually post things. So I'm going to be flying, landing Tuesday night. If I already have this stuff recorded, I can drop it that night from the hotel. If I don't, then maybe that night I hit it. But worst case, we'll go live. But I'm hoping to do all this pre-recorded. And then Wednesday, we'll end up having to go to some media stuff, but I can hit those things before we actually end up going to the media stuff. So I can still knock out some of the stuff before we actually get to the media stuff, which is going to make it, it's going to make it all work. So a lot happened next couple of days. I fly out in the evening, so I do got a little bit of time. I know Easy hit me up. You want to do some sort of mock draft thing. Maybe we do that tonight. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out because I would like to do some too. Timing is just difficult. And it's like when you're not home, I have no idea how things are going to shake out. I still don't even know exactly how it's going to look for content during the draft. We're trying to figure that out as well. I know I'll be doing some sort of content. I just don't know exactly where it's going to be. It might be over here. It might not be. It might be on both. I don't know yet. That's something we're trying to figure out. And I know I put that, I put it in the community that we have the new, the Dose of Draft, which is Dose Be Gaming. We just changed it to that. That is going to be our draft channel going forward. So I don't want to, I don't know. We tried something this year. I tried to change it from more of just draft once kind of we got close rather than just, hey, we're just talking Lions, which, that's the fun part for me. So I decided to change it up. I'm like, all right, going forward, we're just going to have a channel to just draft. So what I'll do is I'll basically just balance. They won't be the same content. You may see a little bit of overlap over the next couple of days just because I may throw some stuff over there. But going forward, after this draft season, that's going to have its own stuff. Lions only over here, just to kind of split two things up. I don't want to have that overlap anymore. I don't want it to make it confusing. I just want it to be straightforward. We'll see how the channel does, but that'll allow me to kind of do, the draft profiles and stuff without having something exactly connected to it. So I think it'll work well. You're telling me that you'll be there for the draft, but not for Detroit. Be there for the draft, but not for Detroit. Yeah, that's crazy. Wait. What you mean? Oh, because I didn't go to Detroit. Well, man, I was in Michigan. I was in Michigan last year. I wasn't in Detroit. But at the same time, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you were there, Hungry Panda. There ain't really no benefit of going if you don't have. I feel like there's not much of a benefit of going if you don't have some sort of access. You know what I mean? Like, in fair, there's not really much of. You could stand out there for a little bit. It's pretty cool. You know what I mean? But like, what are you gonna do? There's nothing to do. It's just a group of people. And it's like, what? Am I gonna record next to a group of people? Like, what? So this year we got the draft credentials, we got the media credentials. So we're gonna be in places. So I probably won't even be like outside that much of the draft happening. It'll be in like different buildings with the draft, I think. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. I'm just kind of winging it. They know more than I do. Well, same email. I just don't understand it. I'm going to be there. You know what I mean? I'm going to be there. But it's like, in general, I wouldn't just go to the draft. I would not. Draft is great, but it's like, bro, this is tragic. Y'all tell me. It's tragic, bro. There's too many people. He's never even thought Gibbs would be as a rookie. Oh, that's crazy. See, this is hey, honestly though. That's what Vaki's going to be as receiving back. MVP pass next time. It comes back, but there's no way to record day one. I know they have. I don't know what that is. I don't think I do. I know they have like the seats on the sides or whatever from the inside. I did see those, which were like a couple $1,000s, which I'm good on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to do all that. So the first time, we had the inner circle. That wasn't even like a media spot. I was just in there. I just had my phone. So that's why I just recorded stuff. This one will be like legitimately set. We're going to have setup to go stream. So I just don't know how exactly it's gonna work. But like we're gonna actually have a setup to stream and stuff. So this is gonna be like, regardless of where it's at, it's gonna be legitimate content time, but also being in a spot that's at the draft. So that'll make it better. This actually makes sense from a content side of things. Well, out there, hit up Cooper Street Brewery. Okay, cheese curds with the Bloody Mary sauce ribs. Okay, okay. Hold up. Let me look that up. Oh, Copper Street. Man, I can't read Copper Street Brewery. Okay, let me give that quick little Google search. You know what I mean? I may have been there. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of places I couldn't get into because I wasn't old enough last time. But oh no, I haven't been there. Wait, no, I've seen that though. I've seen that though. I feel like I've seen that. I probably wasn't able. Wait a minute. Yo, there was a place like upstairs they sent us to when we were there for the draft. I wonder if it was this place. I don't think it was. I don't think it was. This does look different. Okay, I will keep this in mind because they're going to be asking for places. I'll keep this in mind. We got one guy that's not from there, but he's a Packers fan, so he'll probably have some hookups too. You know what I mean? Like he'll know what time it is. This looks familiar though, man. Like the one place, this might be the same place. They had us like in an upstairs. So there's like a downstairs, but the upstairs was like a bar, but it was just like a straight line. It was just like a walkway, and it was right next to the stadium. I think it was like right in front of, like, so when you walked out, you were at the stadium basically. That was pretty sick. That was just there for the package they gave us. But no, that wasn't even the draft. What am I thinking? Yeah, it obviously wasn't the draft. That was for the game we went to. Is there anything fun to do in Green Bay? I mean, look, man, we about to find out. I would assume not really. I mean, not from like when we were there. There wasn't like things, it was like a big. It felt like a college game kind of. Like when we were there for the game, kind of felt like a college game, man. It was just people selling stuff. The streets were full with like vendors. There's places to eat. There's like shops, I guess, kinda, right? A little bit. That's kind of all it was, but it was just open. You know what I mean? So I guess like if I don't know. I mean, this will have events going on. By the way, they got like a country singer doing the first game, which I don't know anything about him. So I'm a little bit like, dang, kind of wish I knew who this guy was, right? I don't know. But no, it's not crazy though. It's not crazy though. So yeah, that's my plan. So we're still gonna get our rankings out. It's just a lot of kind of cramming, and I'm trying not to like. I really don't want to like under. I don't want to like like value someone like where I see him a little bit and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Then I just put it in the list. Like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm really trying to be at least somewhat thorough with everybody. That way, I'm not. That way, I don't put someone like super high that makes no sense. It's like, yo, why was he up there? That one cat, y'all saw that? Like, I don't want to do all that. I don't want to do that. So, but I got some time. I got some time. We're gonna get it out. We're gonna make it happen. Let me text Easy back real quick. Yeah, there wasn't much to do there. I mean, we was just there for the game though. We weren't there that long. We like I think we went to the game the same. I don't know. Maybe it was a different day. I don't know. I know we ate. I think that was it though. I don't think we like did much outside of that. Especially if you're not old enough to get into the bars, there's nothing you're doing. You know what I mean? It's crazy how long ago it was, but yeah, if you're not enough to do that, you might not do anything. I'm gonna be honest. What up, Dan? Are you wearing a Lions jersey on draft day? I'm gonna pack one. I'm gonna pack one. I don't know if I will. I don't know if I will just because of where I'll be at. Like if I was at the draft, if I was outside the draft, I'd wear a Lions jersey. I just don't know where I'm gonna be. So like if I'm doing like a show, like I know I have an idea of like a couple of the things where I'm gonna be. But I don't know. I don't want to say the details because I don't know if they want that stuff out there. But like the spots that I'm is more media spots. I don't know if like wearing a jersey even would work in some of those places. But like I'll probably bring one just in case. I don't know, who I'd bring. Honestly, I might bring my rake straw one because that's perfect. I mean, I know it's not a Lions jersey, but it is perfect for the draft. So maybe I'll just bring the rake straw jersey. You know what I mean? Just be in the spirit of it all. And if I want to pop that on, I'll pop that on. But I don't know. Also, I don't have that many Lions jerseys, not current Lions jerseys. I mean, I got the golf one, I got the Barnes one, and then I got the rake straw one. And then whoever we draft this year, hey, especially if it's Jalen Walker, who's already told me in the chat, yo, if that's Jalen Walker, I got to get that jersey. I will do that. Cam Spaghetti might be lying. They just met him. That'd be fun. I don't think I'd be super excited about a lot of running backs except for Cam Scatterboo. Like I would just like to see that dude in the Lions uniform. What up, Dan? Oh, I already read that question. What position do you think the Lions will target with the first pick? Hard to say. Yeah, I think it is hard to say. I think it is really hard to say. But I'm just gonna stick to where I was. I think it'll be I do think they're gonna try to get out, but I think it'll. You know what? Today I kind of changed my mind a little bit, and I think this is just because every day you think a little bit differently. I do still think a defensive front player will be most likely because the players that'll be there. But the more that I look at it, right, I think here's what I'll say: if the Lions move out of the first round, or if they move back, I would almost feel 100% certain they're going to take a defensive front player because I think that's where the meat of that's going to be, and there's going to be enough players on the board where they'll be like, yo, we can move back and still get that dude at this position, and we're cool with it, right? So to me, if they move back, I'd feel pretty certain that that's the position they're going to go. If they don't trade back and they sit at 28, today I had a feeling they were going to go offensive lineman. Like I had that feeling kind of in my stomach or whatever. Like, for a while I was thinking it was Mike Kell. Then I started to go to the Campbell if they trade up or Jade Barron, something like that, and maybe Malachi Starks. But I thought today, like if they just got stuck at 28, I think they would take Donovan Jackson. That'd be my guess. My guess right now would be Donovan Jackson at 28. We trade up for McMillan. Do you have a video on Walker? Would he be the under linebacker? So I do have a video on Jaylin Walker. It's in the I think I posted. It's not a great. This is why I'm doing this on another channel next year. And look, we're going to be updating that thing throughout the year. Like that's not going to be just like, hey, too much for the draft. Let's start doing this. The plan there is like this is going to be. It won't be fully year round because there's going to be like dead time where nothing's happening. And I don't want to do too much. Maybe we'll do like a early 2026 mock. A month after the draft here or something like that, just to kind of get names out there. But it's going to be more year round. Like my goal for that other channel is like, every week we kind of like update like power rankings almost like, hey, this college player balled out. Let's move him up a little bit. Let's slide this guy up, like that kind of thing. So we're constantly kind of like keeping tabs on dudes throughout the year. But there was a tab I posted on the community, or you can just look it up. Dose of Dion. If you spell it right, don't spell it wrong, it won't pop up. Dose of Dion, and then he put space Jaylin Walker. If you search that up in Google on YouTube, you'll find that too. I had him as a linebacker. But I think he played a few more snaps this past season as an outside on the line of scrimmage, technically on the ball. So I think you consider him as an edge. I think he'd be a higher grade as an edge because my critical factors will be higher. Like I think for pass rush, play strength, first step, like all those things would be higher if I just listed him as an edge rusher. But because I put him at linebacker, those things pulled back a little bit. That's kind of why it is where it is. But I also think that's kind of a testament to how much I like the guy because I think he's a strong linebacker too. Ali Gordon went from running back 2 to 5th rounder. It is crazy, right? I heard that someone brought him up today. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't today. I saw a video though recently of Ali Gordon. Every time I see the name, it feels weird being down there too. Like even at the Senior Bowl, right? There was no buzz. It's weird, strange. Brad and Dan both said they want to get younger at receiver. No, I agree. I think they are going to get younger at receiver. That's kind of why I threw Jaylin Noel in there at the end too, because I do think they're going to draft a receiver. And there's so many different body types, right? Like it would make a lot of sense to do it. You think about the whole JMO 5th-year option thing. I think it'll get picked up. Like I don't doubt it at all. But there are like, oh well, hey, maybe they haven't picked it up because they could move him at the draft. Like I don't think that's going to happen. We talked about that. I'm just curious to see. Like I don't even know. Like I think they could go any body type. Like I hear the big receiver because this at least is a draft where big body vertical receivers. There is a healthy amount of those guys, even beyond the top. Like yeah, you throw Gold in that mix. I wouldn't throw exactly Ted McMillan into that, but he is a big body. But like there is a lot of kind of those linear vertical threat receivers as the draft goes on. It's just kind of finding the one that you like. But there's enough there where it would make sense to take a swing on somebody. But there's also then the complete flip side as well. I just don't want them to chase that this year. I don't think that's a year to do it. In the past, I would have agreed, right? Like, oh, it'd be nice to go, like last year, Jalen Polk. I wanted Jalen Polk. I thought it'd been nice to go get some size. This year, I really don't. Like, I know they won't, but like if you told me like they kind of chase the size over the player, I wouldn't be happy with that. I'm cool if they get a 5'9" receiver that they like. The only one that's kind of I'm a little bit off on is Tez Johnson, dude's a $150. That scares me. Like I don't even know. That's not even like hey, you're a slot. Like that's just dude, you don't weigh anything. That scares me. It's like the Tutu Atwell thing. But outside of that, like I'm cool with them going a smaller receiver. Because we'll probably be replacing Khalif. I know the price point's not the same, but we may end up doing that soon anyway. So for me, I'm cool with going smaller. I just want because even if you think about it like this, like it's not realistic. But if you could say, hey, you had 2 Jameson Williams or would you ever have 2 St. Browns? Like, I'm taking 2 St. Browns. Now, JMO opens the game, but St. Brown's a dog without Jameson Williams as well. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'd rather have 2 Saints. So for me, I don't care what size or anything like that. Like, just be a dog. You know what I'm saying? You rile that guy to make a channel break down players like you do. Yeah, I don't even know who that is. All 22 films. I'll be honest, I don't really watch anybody else. But is it like, I'll tell you what, if it's draft stuff, then that's probably what we're going to be going for. I don't know. It may change up a little bit though, too, because we did some of those this offseason. I think the problem is it didn't have its own spot. You know, those videos were thrown into this channel, which was unfair to those videos. And it caused a lot of confusion, which is my fault because those videos came off, I think, early as, oh, snap, he dropped a video on this guy. This must be a Lions target. And then I just did the video on the player. No connection to the Lions at all. It's just like, hey, here's what I think about the guy. The problem is like that kind of confuses the audience. Like, wait a minute, I thought this was about a Lions guy because you're talking about him on a Lions channel. So that's why I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. That way, if I do those videos, they're only because I was really happy about a lot of the breakdown videos I did. Those videos took a while. I was super happy with how them played out. I don't like as much of the show the film and then I like watch the screen for a little. I do that for the Lions ones because it's the only way I can get through it without it being 7 hours long. But like, I don't like those as much as I like the cut ups with also me going through my notes because I feel like I'm more polished on what I actually wrote down. If I'm just showing you a play, I feel like I don't get everything in. It's kind of like, all right, here on this example. So if this, I did that shorter and I just saw like 3 plays, which again, that never happens. I always say I'm going to do that. Never happens. So I think just going forward, if I do things like that, having them on that channel going forward, it'll be better for those videos to kind of live on their own. And that's why I'm starting kind of that second thing. So yeah, that'll be happening. My goal was to hopefully do some sort of like NFL league mock. That's again not Lions, but every team in the league and do like a 3-round mock or something and just post it on that channel alone. We'll see if that happens. But I think at best we'll also have some things thrown out on both channels, but maybe even during the draft, if I get some like cool clips that aren't Lions related this weekend, I'll just throw them over there. Like if I get like a cool answer from a media guy that we run into about this year's draft and what he thinks or some rumors or something, I'll just throw it over on that channel and just let that kind of live as a draft video. Walk away with Tesla McMillan. I'm going to shake Brad's hand. All right. You're going to shake his hand? That's funny, bro. Nah, that threw me off, though. You said I'm going to shake your hand, bro. That's crazy. Okay. Savion Williams 102. Prime Debo. Flores Cordero Patterson. I like Savion Williams, man. Cordero Patterson's nice too. Like I would have no issue with that. Good route runner, but I haven't seen it. Thornton. What's up, the truth? Pat Bryant keeps popping up. Yeah, there is some Pat Bryant love. There is some love for that guy. Which again, I think it also kind of rounds itself out a little bit more when you look at some of these other receivers that are available later. That you don't even have to have the most diverse skill set at receiver. You know, especially this year. Like I don't think you have to show that you can win at every level. You want something that's going to stand out. If you have something that stands out as receiver in this year's draft, immediately you could be shot into day 2. If you're great to the at worst, you could be a day 2 pick. Like I think that this receiving class is kind of like that because there's not a lot of well-rounded guys for me in this year. I just don't think it's that heavy at the top. So I feel like if you just have anything that's stands out, you could be drafted day 2 in this year. So all of a sudden, you know, if you got that and you have a skill set that you're good at and you have the body size, that already makes you a little bit unique. You could push yourself up there. Like, you know, I don't think a guy like Torrey Horton was great. Like, I didn't think he was a great receiver, but he did a few things well. And he bought into the size. You bought into the football intelligence. Like, all right, this could, you know, maybe he does push himself up in the day 2. I don't know. Maybe something like that does happen. Even who I did the thing on Jaylin Noel, like he's getting talked about like as one of the round 2 guys. And like, I don't even see him flash that much, but I get the flashes are there. What's up? Detroit Tigers drive me insane. That's what's up. Okay. See, I thought they were doing well. I did see the loss to the Royals. The last game I saw like 4-3, but they were like 13-9. I don't know how they've done since then. It seems like they play every day. I don't know if that's true. It seems like they play every day. I don't know. Also, why is it so many older prospects? I think a couple things. Is this the last year for the COVID year? I think this might be the last year. With a lot of those like COVID players that end up doing that as well. We're also getting I know there's been talk about having the what's it called? The money in NIL is keeping a lot of the 3-year players kind of out of the draft. Like you're not getting as many true juniors anymore either. Someone actually said they had a number. I don't remember what the number was. I don't know if it was right either. It was like a huge number of players that you would typically get that are 3-year juniors versus now that you're not getting anymore. Those guys have like pulled way back. So I think that's what it is. Like you just don't have as many of those guys. And that may continue to be the case where they kind of get held back a little bit longer. They're coming out a little bit older because they're already making money. So if you're like a 3-year guy that's around 3 kind of range, it's like, why go out now? I'll just take my money now until I can try to get up to round 1. Then by the time you're coming out, older. So I think there's that plus also the COVID thing. I think those two things tie together. And that COVID thing can also push guys up the board that are older because like, oh, they're really good. But yeah, it's like he's 100 years old. Plus, you got so many dudes transferring now. You know what I'm saying? Like you tie those two things together to transferring for money, that throws it off. Almost, it feels like every player in this year's draft is transferred. Like it's hard to find dudes that are not transfers, man. Everybody I go through transfers so much. Some guy is 3 times. It's like, all right, transferred again. They transfer like crazy now. Everybody's bouncing around year after year after year, which makes it a little confusing, but it's like these dudes are coming out old, man. So shout out to Jesus Vision. What if Lions? Why does your L look like that? Oh, you capitalized the I. I'm like, what the heck? Wait a minute. Let me try that. Lions. All right, let me see what that looks like. Yeah. All right, you capitalized the I. I see what you did there. What if the Lions took Braden Swinson? Look, that's my dark horse to go for the Lions first pick. Charles wasn't feeling it last time I brought it up. I'm glad you brought it up. I appreciate you, two-piece. That was my dark horse, bro. It's like, yo, if someone it's like I said, if they move back, I think they're going to take a front 7 player or a defensive lineman, edge, that kind of thing. Braden Swinson to me would be at the top. And honestly, here's the thing about Swinson, right? Just to be honest, even when I'm not looking for him, he still pops. I'm watching Zy Alexander and he's popping. I'm like, hey, yo, I got to be honest, bro. If they got to 34 and they took him, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I'd actually be on board with it. I think his skill set fits the Lions, by the way. And I also think about this a lot, too, even though not the same players at all. I do think about this. We do have a lot of ties to LSU. We have 2 defensive coaches that have ties back to LSU. And because of that, you know, Kaylavon Chasen was kind of the guy at the time, the outside linebacker. We didn't sign him free agency. He ended up getting brought back, I think, by the Raiders, who was coming off a pretty nice season actually for him, even though it's been a mess at this point. I do think about those ties. Don't think they're going to mean anything, but it just comes to my mind a little bit like, hey, a guy that can play stand up a little bit, pretty good athlete. I could see it. It'll be one of the things that's brought up if he is drafted. What up, Z Digital? How you doing, man? Tyler Shuck was in Trevor Lawrence draft class. Justin Fields recruiting class. It's crazy. Yeah, the dude's old. He's like 26. He might be turning 26. I think he's 26 now. Okay, he's turning 26. Yeah, dude's old. And he's not the only guy that's 26. A lot of guys. Nick Nash is like going to be 26 years old. I didn't even realize that till today. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, bro, there's a lot of old dudes coming out this year. A lot of old dudes, man. It's okay. There is, though. Lions going to rip this draft. Hey, I'm with it, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Go to Moose Bull Rush. He's just really strong. That's what we do. That's what we do. You know what I mean? It is his go-to. I'm a big Braden Swinson guy. I had him 7. I had him 7, and he was the guy I was like, yo, I want to put this guy higher. I want to put him higher. You know, like if I don't know, like if I give me a different day, like honestly, today I could switch him. I could push him higher today. I'd have no issue with it. Especially like looking for someone else and having him keep popping the background. It's gonna help him, man. I'm like, this dude makes sense for the Lions. And my first impression was thinking like, oh, dude, I'm watching a mini Marcus Davenport. Right now, they don't play the same way, but he's just a powerful guy. As you're pointing out, he's got good to very good play strength for me. That's kind of his thing. What would I say? He's got really nice length too, over 33-inch arms, big hands. He was invited to the Shrine Bowl, but he didn't participate in the Shrine Bowl. I was looking for that. That is just a side note. I think if you're looking at like if you put him and Shamar Stewart next to each other, I could see the lean for Braden Swinson. I could see it. I think Shamar will go first, but I could understand that. He just can lack a little play on the top of the rush. He doesn't have the great bend either, which kind of pushes him out of plays, but I like him. Does he hurt waking up, Marcus? I hope not. Yeah, dude, I hope not, bro. Man, I'm hoping. Hey, I was wearing my Davenport shirt, what was it, Sunday? Yeah, yesterday. I was wearing my Marcus Davenport shirt, man. Pulling that out felt so good. It's like, man, glad this dude's back. I'm hoping for you though, bro. Please be healthy a little bit. For his sake, bro. Let him be healthy. Let him play a little bit, man. My goodness. Like at some point, it just ain't right. Like you can't just have the guy keep getting hurt. That's crazy. At some point, just get the dude a season. You know what I mean? At some point, just let the dude have a year to play. See what happens. Scoring second youngest guy in this whole draft class. That's nuts. That's nuts. I didn't know that. It's a good fun fact. Demetrius Knight's 25. Old man. Notre Dame quarterback 4 years ago just transferred for the fourth time. Dude is 26, still in college. Transfer for the fourth time. Dude is 26. Is that? No, that's. I was thinking Dracovic. Would that be Dracovic? I feel like Dracovic hasn't come out yet. Phil Dracovic? I feel like he hasn't come out yet, bro. I had a red report on him like 2 years ago. Maybe it's a different guy. It might be a different guy. He might be in this year's draft. Is he in this year's draft? He needs to be in this year's draft. This guy, or was he last year? I don't know. He might have already came out. He's a tight end? Yo, he's a tight end? He switched positions to tight end in 2023. Wow. See, that's why I forgot about him. That's crazy. I didn't know he did that. He was invited to the Steelers when he came. Dang. That was a big dude, but that's crazy. I like Dracovic too. That's crazy. That was a long time ago though. I think that was probably, man, was that 2021? It had to be 2022. I remember watching him in Boston College. It had to be 2022 then. Yeah, it had to be. I don't know. I'm gonna take Kurt over me. You crazy, bro? Nah, you crazy on that one. I ain't gonna get with you on that one. You crazy on that one. But Kyle Kennard does feel like one of those dudes that's like, as time gets closer, he's like just not being talked about anymore. He's just not being talked about anymore. It's like hey, dude had buzz maybe for 10 seconds, maybe not. He may have never had buzz. I don't know. He's just like getting lost in that whole mix. You liked him because he wasn't your quarterback. That's yeah, that's possible. Yeah, it looks like his numbers were, well, he only played he only threw 12, 16 passes for Notre Dame. Or 18. He had 2 is 2019. No, it was the what season was it, man? I feel like I thought he was coming off a good year when I had to do the write up on him. Maybe he wasn't. Phil. Look up Phil. Phil Dracovic. Yeah, here we go. He was a 5-year senior at the time. 6'5", 215. Yeah, that does sound like a dude. That would play tight end. All right, now my grades weren't that high on him. Now I'm looking at it. Has the size and athleticism to stick, but will need to tighten his accuracy, velocity, and decision making. Nah, yeah, that's not good, bro. See, that's a problem. Heck no. Oh my goodness, bro. He needs to protect it. Oh man. His decision making will not hold up against NFL speed. He will win. Okay. Dangerous decision making. Plays with confidence and creativity. Good coaching and a better supporting cast should help. Oh boy. Hey man, he might still get that. He won't bring any special teams ability. Except for being a placeholder. Bro, why'd I write that? See, I don't know why I wrote that. This must have been one of the first ones I did. I don't feel like I needed to write that. Maybe I did. I wrote that his value. That's what I wrote, bro. I wrote his value would come as a placeholder for field goals and extra points. That's disrespectful, bro. I should have just left that out. You don't put that in there. Oh, that's crazy. Wow. That's crazy. Hey, I bet he could still bring that to the table though. He could still do that. I did it last year. I was holding it. Not even that scary. Once you get used to it, it's not that bad. I wonder how a guy that can really kick though, how that feels. You probably feel that thing. So Jameis Winston. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. James Winston got a little more of an arm though, All right. I'm not gonna watch that. Bryce Underwood gonna take us to the Natty. You know what? I honestly missed the game. I saw was told afterward I missed something Michigan football. I was like, oh man, they must have their spring game. I saw a few clips on YouTube, like they showed from someone sitting in the stands. I watched a little bit of that. It's hard to tell what was going on, so I didn't watch much of it. I'm excited. I don't know. All I heard was like, oh, it was okay. So I'm like, you know what? I don't need to watch it. Let me just be surprised when he starts playing. I just want to see what it looks like then. Can't be worse than last year. So I think I'm gonna be happy with whatever. Was Northern Theaters, ASU, Missouri. Now you're Bowling Green. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Wait, he just transferred there? They got a big time coach this offseason. He slipped my mind right now. They got a huge hire this offseason. Who was that? Was that George? I can't remember what it was. A player. I can't. Was it George? Yeah, Eddie George. Yeah, yeah. Kind of forgot. Was there a day 3 sleeper DT today? I put Cam Horsley in there. Yeah, I put Cam Horsley out of Boston College. Speaking of Boston College, there you go. Do you think? Oh man, I missed a couple. Do you think we can turn pick 28 into an extra second and third rounder to have 4 day 3 picks? I would say no. I guess it depends on how far you go back. Like if you go like 50, yeah, but probably not. Probably not for how far they'll be willing to move back. I mean, the value chart would probably say no too. Plus, if it's a team for if it's like the Giants or Browns, that would be your best bet, right? Like you get a team that wants a quarterback, and those two teams are fighting over someone. And I think the best bet then is like hopefully those top two, those teams at the top don't take a quarterback, and then that leads to maybe them fighting over trying to get back in. That might be your best bet. I don't think you'd get a 2 and a 3. I don't like. You could get their second round pick. Most teams don't have 2 seconds. Like Seattle would. So I think you'd struggle with that. I think you could grab a 3 though. Like if you jumped into the second, I think you could grab a 3 out of that. So then you'd have their 260. This is kind of what you're asking, right? 4 day 3 pick. Yeah. Well, 4 day 2 picks. You're talking about 4 day 2 picks. So you'd have your pick 60, a third, and then your end of the pick a third. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I guess you could pull it off like that. Yeah. Corey Lindenberg. I like Corey Lindenberg. I like him. He's not a great athlete, which is a problem, but I think he's better than what he tested as. I gotta get my notes for him. I think he's better though than the way that he tested. You know, he played in space a pretty good amount for Minnesota too. Let me see. I got a new binder, by the way, so this is gonna be good. I'm gonna sort these things out. It'll be a little bit easier. It's actually what I was finishing up first is my linebacker stuff. Yeah, Corey Lindenberg, 6'2", 236. I remember liking him initially too because of his build. I remember thinking him like really quickly, like, oh, I like his build. My grades are pretty low for him though. Play speed, coverage. Yeah, I think he's he's got the intelligence to play, and he's another one of those guys that are pretty stout. So I think that would work too. He's got the arm length that I like too. He's just under 33 inches, which is nice. I thought that he could move a little bit. Like his 40 time was pretty rough, but he's explosive. 3 cone was nice. Look, man, my grades came in kind of low for him because I remember liking the way that he played initially, but then I ended up a little bit lower on him. But I'm not mad at that pick either. And Riley Mills been gaining steam, I feel like, too. I feel like he's at least on simulators. I mean, he's been gaining buzz on simulators. He's pushing his way up there to round 3. That's where he's going, man. IQ of a doctor, heart of a plumber. What? I feel like you've said that a lot. Is that is that from something or is that just like your thing? I sprayed my finger yesterday getting caught in a rat trap. Dang. That sounds awful. Man. Dude, yeah, that's tough. Turns out Cam Horsley has a cool hometown. Cinnamonson, New Jersey. Probably smells great in the fall. That's crazy. Come on. Nah, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy you said that. But it probably does, though. That's the smell, bro. That's it. I like that apple smell, that cinnamon smell. Come on, man. Predicted. Browns-Lions trade lands Cleveland new franchise quarterback. All right, hold up. This article just popped up. People got to remember he's injured. Hey, dude, I'm just that's what I've seen. Every time I go on there, the dude's a little bit higher. Like, all right, he's sliding up there a little bit. I had pretty high stuff on him too. So Cleveland climbs 5 spots. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, this is an article just dropped. Bam. Let's see what this is talking about. Cleveland climbs 5 spots to secure long-term replacement, whose pathetic tenure. Oh, that's unnecessary. Rumored to be in play for Kirk Cousins, which they won't get. Instead, Dart, something of a younger version of KFC. What? Yo, see, that's I don't know what we're talking about, man. What are we talking about? Something of a younger version of KFC? I'm just thinking about the food. I don't know KFC. Yo, that's crazy. They just slid that in there like that was supposed to make sense, bro. That's not a player, dog. That's not a player, bro. Yo, why'd they throw it in there? What were they going for? It's like all I could think was like Kevin O'Connell. Like, they throw that in there. Something of a younger version of KFC, but a more athletic one. Come on, bro. Who are they talking about? I don't know who they're talking about. Okay. Might still need a bit of time to get acclimated to the NFL. See, these articles are hilarious, bro. I don't know what this stuff is. It always things always pop up. Okay. So it doesn't hurt that he can marinate. Oh, yeah, this is definitely about food. Behind Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett, as long as necessary. That's good. That's good. The Lions win at 33, but Davis doesn't go into detail what the Lions get in the trade. Oh, good. Okay. The Lions could net 104. Oh, see, look, okay, this what I think we could get a third round pick out of them. I think we could because well, I'd be cool with 104 if I'm being honest. 104 and 102, I'd be cool with that. But I think we could because the Giants might be pushing their way up too. But I'd take that. Because it's only, 33, like I'm cool with that. I'll probably be cool with that. The Browns ugly. Okay, this is not about the Lions. It's not about the Lions. All right, cool. It is. It's supposed to be about the Lions. I don't know. Okay, let me just. Yeah. All right. See if any of those other ones pop up. This thing's just be blowing up my. Takes everybody. Lions expertly built NFL roster. Look at that. Okay, that's good. Yeah, man, that's popping right now for some reason. I don't know what any of this is. I don't know. Yeah. Jameson Williams could be traded as Lions. Oh boy, here we go. Could be traded from Lions as contract decision approaches. Ah, man. For what it's worth, Holmes told reporters they're most likely to exercise fifth year option. He did say that. Uh, they spelled Holmes wrong too. That's crazy. It says Holstead. Dude, I honestly don't know if these articles are legit. Like, the more I see these, the more I'm believing these are just fake news. Like, this has to be AI or something. Who wrote this? What is this? He was a tremendous player for us last year, Hole said. Now I believe in there's nobody writing these. I just think it just makes sense for us to do what we can do to keep him around. And that's pretty much the article. What is this? Why is this an article? I feel like we needed more substance than that. That shouldn't have been a post. I don't know. Saw theme is my top 4 movie theme ever. Changed my mind. Saw theme is my top 4 movie theme ever. What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. Like the theme of the movie, the theme of the movie Saw is a top 4 theme. Oh, okay. Actually, no, I do get that. I do get that. So the theme of the movie, like a guy, it's kind of crazy though. The guys like these people don't deserve some of these things. That said, though, I like the last one a lot. Would anyone trade Watson for a bucket of chicken? Probably not. I'm gonna be honest. Probably not. Probably not. But hey, he's out here to prove people wrong. He's been talking spicy, man. There's 5 dinners large. Okay, I'm happy to walk away with scoring. Hey, me too. I'd be happy to walk away with scoring too. I'd prefer to trade back in that spot. I think I'd prefer a trade back for scoring just because where I have him. But I'd be pretty excited too because I'd really be excited about what that could turn into. I think he's got a lot of untapped potential. For the Saw movie, the ending of the first is still great. That first ending's great. I like the first ending. I like the second one a lot too. First one's nuts though, and I know they're making a new one. It's coming out I think next year, so hopefully it's like the last one. Any of the ones in between, I don't. Yeah, I don't really. But the first two, I did like those two. They're just putting that up because it's trending topic. It's weird though, man. Like that doesn't even like that. Like there's no way somebody wrote that. Oh, I do see Lions host Cam Scattaboo. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is probably one of those other things here. All right, all right. Cam Scattaboo was my number 2 running back. So that's not gonna be how it plays out, but he was. So if he does get drafted by us, there you go. And also, I've been thinking about this too. Like, I know Kansas City's GM brought this up, but like whoever it is, receiver, running back, probably receiver in our case, a guy that maybe you buy into having some returning upside would be really interesting too. Because I know Khalif's handled that. If you move off Khalif, then you definitely need somebody. We really haven't had a ton of juice as a kick returner with now the new kickoff rules. Craig's back there. He doesn't really bring that much. We didn't really try Vaki last season. So, and I thought he'd be good in that. Maybe they try him this year. But if they don't, I'd be interested in whoever they draft as a receiver, kind of looking into that side of things. Like, okay, but can they do that a little bit? And Jaylin Noel kind of fall. I think Jalen Lane's a super interesting option though. Middle Tennessee State, big time returning background as a punt returner. He's someone that I think is really interesting because I think he's definitely going day 3. He'd be pretty fun. And I don't know how much you get as a route tree here, but you do like the toughness that he plays with. I would think of him as an interesting option where he kind of sets up blocks to be a returner as well. That's something I'm keeping an eye on, especially if we get to day 3 and we haven't taken a receiver. Someone that maybe has a little bit of that extra kind of added element that they may go after. Still think hate for like Gray Zabel, rumor shouldn't be slept on. Yeah, but I feel like that's not a rumor though. Like, was there a rumor that I missed? Wasn't the rumor that his son plays with him? That's not really a rumor though, right? Isn't that just a fact? Or was there like a rumor that came out and then the fact was like, oh, but bam, we got this too. Because like I buy that as a fact. Like, okay, did you see the Lions' new locker room? I guess that's why they're raising prices. I did not see the new locker room. This team's always raising prices though. Okay, here I'm gonna see it right now. I'm gonna see it right now. Oh, okay, let's watch it. Savion Williams returner. You could do that. There's a couple guys like that did a lot of work at the line. That's usually how it works. Let's mute that. I don't want to get copyrighted. Okay. Little 313. What is that? What is this? I don't know what that is. They got some glow in the dark seats. What? Oh, wow. So I was in I won't say what team's locker room I was in. I was in the locker room recently. I don't know if I'm supposed to say. I guess I can. I was in the Indianapolis Colts locker room. I was in the Colts locker room, and that was pretty fire. Like seeing the whole setup of what they get access to is nuts. I mean, I've been in the Lions locker room. I've been in the Lions away locker room, not their home locker room. Been in their away locker room a couple times. I was recently too. And I've been some of the behind the scenes stuff, especially like training camp area, like the weight room and all that stuff. So I've seen that. But I went through the entire Colts thing. Like I went through the whole thing. And with the group, that was nuts, dude. Like the food, like that's what stuck out, bro. They got like that thing set up where it's like, bro, just like hey, whatever you want. They had like an ice cream bar down there. That thing was nuts. And then the locker room, like, they have like the video games and stuff. They had like I can't remember what console it was, but they had a console like stuck in the wall. Like not like it didn't look like garbage, but I think they had like 1 or 2 consoles stuck into the wall. TV's hanging off of it. So like you could play video games on one of those pillars in the middle. And then there's the ping pong table next to it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think there was anything else made. There was like one of them like arcade basketball things, like what I'm saying, like the little just like one of them little things that I don't know what you say. It wasn't anything fancy, but it was like one of them arcade basketball deals. So they had one of those in there. So those were like the 3 games. And then they had these TVs, and the TVs would like show like, boom, here's what we eat, that kind of deal, like line up, like eat. And then it would show the schedule the whole time. And this thing was just like running, man. So they'd have those. That was just the locker room though. The locker room was, I want to see this one. Hold up. Oh, this thing ain't loading. Let me reload this. I feel like it was about this size. It was just not set up the same. It was definitely brighter than this. It's definitely not as dark. Man, goodness, what is going on? Okay, here we go. Shout out to Longhorn Lockers. Okay, let's see. Let me see this again. Okay. Yeah. These TVs right here. So they just like had things running. Now the seats in here are way nicer. These seats are nasty. They got the underglow on the seats. They didn't have that. They didn't have seats, I don't think. Like they had their lockers with the names on top, with the jerseys in there, but they didn't have like I feel like they just had chairs. They didn't have this. This is crazy. No, this thing's high level. Yeah, same TVs. They had games in there though. They're probably gonna get the games in there later. Oh no, this is nuts, man. I don't know why we keep looking at this. I guess just to. Oh wow. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, they do. Oh yeah. No, they went crazy, bro. No, they went crazy. I told you. Yo, that's crazy, dog. They do. What is this? At first, I thought this was like the meeting room, bro. Y'all see the controllers, bro? So they did set it up like that. Nah, that's nuts, dog. That's nuts, bro. This thing is tough. Oh my god. This is tough, dude. All the chairs like that is crazy, bro. And it must be pretty big in there. Cause like I know these dudes be like doing like a lot of their pregame stuff with all the room they have. Like, look, bro, they got like a what is this, like a poker table back here? What are we doing? I think they got a poker table back there. No, this place crazy. No, they went crazy, dude. Oh my goodness. They like fold down. Oh, so they can get to the locker. So they fold and they fold back up. That's slick. That's slick, bro. Now Lions went crazy. Yo, Lions went crazy, bro. Hey, that better land us some free agents. That's why Levi came back. He saw those videos early. He said, "All right, hold up." You know what I mean? That 4 million sounded pretty good. That's crazy. Yeah, that ain't even the same. No, it's not even close, man. I mean, the whole setup was fire, but the locker room was not like that. It was not like that. The thing was that's not even close, bro. I'm trying to think, man. They had a Super Bowl trophy there. That was pretty cool. I don't know where they keep that. Ah, that's crazy. That's a crazy comment. Sheila spent a bag. Yeah, she went crazy on this. They went crazy on this. Man, it's tough though. Like I wonder if their locker room looked like though the old locker rooms. I'm trying to think. No, they showed us the videos on them. I feel like their old locker room kind of looked like the one that I was in with the Colts. So it did look like kind of like their old locker room, which was like basic, right? It was like, hey, everybody's got the fold out chairs kind of deal. You know, you got the wooden, everybody's got the wooden cubbies or whatever, the lockers. This is kind of basic. This is crazy. This looks like a movie theater. That's nuts, man. Yeah, they did their thing. Okay, Lions. All right. Hold up. Okay. Okay. So does the locker away stay the same? I would. Why not? I wouldn't change it. Right? Like, hey, we don't need to. You know what I mean? Like, you could just to make it like nicer for like events, right? When you have other events, teams down there. Because usually they won't let other teams in their home one. But outside of that, dude, outside of that, man, like, no, we don't need to touch that. They probably will have no rush to touch those. Lions trade proposal sends 9 million scrappy defender. Oh no, this better not be for the linebacker, bro. See, this is the kind of is this for Jermaine Pratt? Oh man. Oh, this is the Lions trading a player. See, this is the kind of thing that we get right here. We could just do this all day. They're just gonna drop these. The Bengals and Buccaneers both ranked bottom 8 in yards per attempt. Robertson signed a 2-year deal. So they're thinking we could trade Amik Robertson. I actually get this. Like I actually do understand this, and it would make sense, right, to try to get something before he becomes a free agent because I don't think the future with the Meek's very bright just based on who we have. But specifically, if we draft anybody, like if the Lions draft a defensive back, specifically a corner, trading a Meek wouldn't be a terrible idea. That said, I wouldn't want to do it. Like it would have to take a lot because if it was like, hey, here's a round 6 pick, I'd be fine with like, nah, we'll just let it run. I mean, I understand we might not get nothing for him. He may not have the playing time. He also, to make like enough money in the free agent market to get us a comp pick back. But I'd rather just lose out on that 6th-round pick and have his value for the season. So it would have to be a solid deal, I feel like, to make that happen. Plus, I would struggle with doing that before the draft, because then if I trade the Meek away and I didn't draft a corner, like, we'd still be in a good spot, but I definitely want depth, and I wouldn't have much. Like, I'd have Rakestraw, Terrion, DJ, Rock Ya-Sin. Like, who am I missing? Am I missing somebody? Not really, right? For like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. This would have to happen after the draft. But I also feel like there wouldn't be value to trade. There's maybe going to be less value to trade for him after the draft if that team that might be interested in him already grabs a cornerback or multiple. But for us, like, I'd have to get a cornerback first. Yeah, like I don't know, because they don't want to probably put themselves in that spot where they have to draft somebody. So I'd have to know that I have a corner first. If they draft a corner, then okay, I can understand it. But otherwise, nah. Plus, the value would also be getting the pick for this year, right? Not next. Yeah, I don't think it'd be good value. It'd be good for next year. Like, that would almost be a trade I think about during the season. And at that point, who knows where our depth can be at. But let's say the Lions were in great shape and he just wasn't playing. Then it could be something where his team needs a corner, which a lot of times happens. Maybe at that point, if he drew enough interest, you could do it like a trade deadline move. Outside of that, though, I don't think I would. I think I touched that too much. 3 corners for camp. Well, we signed Rock Ya-Sin, right? That's the big one. We do have Dorsey back, which I like. I do like Dorsey. I think he's getting better. I don't think I've said that before. Avonte Max is going to play safety. I believe he's going to be a safety. And also, Brad Holmes kind of confirmed that. Like, we kind of like him at safety. I don't think he's a corner. I think he's a safety. He's played corner. He can do it. I don't like him at corner, though. I don't like him in the slot. So, when we first signed him, I was like, watching him, I was kind of concerned. I was like, oh, why did they sign this guy? But you see the handful of snaps play at safety. You see his skill set. And you're like, this would probably work at safety. So I think that's where they were at. They're versatile, but a guy that's probably gonna major in a backup safety role. So outside of those two, you're kind of at you're at Stanley Thomas Oliver, who we didn't see. Yeah, you're kind of thin. I don't know. I wouldn't touch that. Edge guard, safety, and receiver. There you go. And we don't even need receiver, to be honest. Like, we could just not touch receiver. I don't think receiver's a need. I don't think receiver's a need. I think receiver's maybe a want, maybe. Like, hey, it'd be cool, But I think receiver's in the same spot as linebacker. You could make case linebacker's a more pressing need, I think. But you could make I think those two are kind of on the same level. Do we still have Mosley? We do not have Mosley. Max is a terrible candidate. No, he's not terrible. I just think he's a safety. I think he's more terrible at corner. Like, I think if you put him now, he's talking about injuries. Obviously, he's had that issue too. I just don't think it translates that well. Not for he wouldn't compete as a starter for sure. But I think you put him at safety, his skill set actually works. And I do think of the parallels between CD Deuce going to safety. And when we got him, I thought he'd be a nickel. And then you're like, wait a minute, this guy's film's better at safety. I think it's kind of a similar deal here. A late round pick we just used to trade up and get a running back for in the 4th. Hey man, see, and that wouldn't even make that would make no sense. Tim Patrick is on a 1-year deal. We shouldn't bring back Allen Robinson. We didn't bring back Allen. Yeah, but we got Ronnie Bell. Antoine Green's technically back because I don't think he got claimed. So having Ronnie, like, I like Ronnie Bell. Like, if we're gonna take if the Lions wait till date round 6 or 7 to take a flyer on a receiver, for me, I have no issue with Ronnie Bell then. Like, obviously that's where Bell was selected, but that's kind of where I was. And I think Ronnie Bell is Ronnie Bell's strength is route running. Ronnie Bell can route run, right? There's some separation issues as a whole. He doesn't play that fast, but he can route run. There's not a lot of guys towards the back end of this draft that I like as route runners. There's a couple. So if you're just looking for like a route runner towards the back end, Ronnie Bell, I think, has a shot. You know what I mean? I think he's got a shot. To me, I was a fan. I had him in the same boat as where he ended up getting drafted. Coming out of Michigan, right? So I was like right there with him. But I think that dude's got a skill set to sit on the team. What team in the NFC North takes a division? Come on, bro. You know what I mean? Stop playing, dog. Look, man, this is crazy, right? Like, no, uh, you know the answer to that question. I feel like I don't need to help you on this. You know what I mean? But I'm kind of hoping the Vikings take a step back. I would like to not see them win 14 games again. Let's maybe have them be a little bit trash this year. Hey, look, dude, we don't need every team to win every game they play. All right, we can have one of the years where like, hey, the other division teams they lose a little bit. It's week 3. Hey, let's lose some games. Let's not win every single game we play. So hopefully the Vikings take a step back. I think that's possible. And then the Bears, dude. I think the Bears are going to be good. I think the Bears will be really good. So, I hope not, but I think they are. If we draft Graham's replacement and get Hutch some help, this draft is an A+ already. I think they'll try to. The Bears might be better. Be better than what? The Vikings? I think that, or you're just saying better in general? Yeah, I think they're going to be better. I mean, they can't be much. They won like 5 games last year. That team is better than 5 wins. I think that's a. I believed in last year. It didn't happen. I was wrong, but I'm not gonna back off. I think they're a playoff team again. Like that to me is a playoff team. So we'll see if it happens. I hope it doesn't, but I think they can be. I think Ben can get him there. Lions and Packers had some injuries. Yeah, you guys were. I mean, Christian Watson's injuries are always awful. At the starting, we don't have time to worry about the Vikings for a long time. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, man. Hope. Man. The whole Watson thing is tough, bro. Y'all always go through it on cornerback. You guys just find dudes to play cornerback throughout the season. So I'll be curious to see if you guys jump on cornerback pretty early to kind of hopefully not worry about that as much. Jordan Love played hurt most of last season. Oh, that's true too. He did play hurt a little bit last season. I forgot about that. I mean, he's average, but like, yeah. I did forget. I forgot that was a thing. That was a thing. Malik Willis held it down though. Like Malik Willis didn't lose, so it's like, hey, y'all should just roll with Malik, bro. Malik was winning, man, which was frustrating because it was like, oh, Malik's in, they're gonna drop a couple games. Y'all just kept winning. We're just gonna find a way. Come on, bro. Come on, man. NC North teams tougher opponents. Yeah, bro. We got a tough schedules this year, man. Schedules are garbage, especially for the Lions on the road. It's insane. Yeah, I know for us on the road, it's crazy. It's crazy. Kansas City, I think Philadelphia's on the road. Baltimore, we got some crazy games. Alex Overchin looks like he's 60. Who is that? It looks like he's 60. Bike schedule's horrendous. Bro, man. Hey, just lose some games this year, dog. That's all I'm saying. They don't have to be garbage. Just don't win every game. We don't need to deal with that stress again. That's frustrating, bro. Okay. All right. Well, with that said, a hockey player. Okay, see, I don't know hockey like that. But is hockey still popping, or is the playoffs, right? Like, isn't it the playoffs? Don't let Easy call him average. Nah, Easy knows what time it is, bro. Easy's crazy. Easy's crazy on that, dog. This dude, he needs to stop. This dude needs to stop. That's what that is. Vikings need to draft a new touchdown dance coordinator. That's true. This is true. Lions need an edge rusher. What else they need? We want an interior offensive line help. We want a little guard, actually. We want a guard. We need safety depth, probably a little bit. I think those are the big 3. And then outside of that, like, if we're just going straight needs, you could use a linebacker. You could use a receiver if you want. I think tight end. I'd put tight end above receiver. I'd like to grab another tight end. But that's where I'm a little bit lower on receiver, higher on tight end. I like to grab another tight end. Bears got the same schedule minus KC. They just go to Sanford instead. Dang, see, that's not even. I don't even. We'll find out. That should be easier. Should be. Harold Fannin. There you go, dude. Gibbs the beat. Oh, he's just in here showing love, man. See, I gotta stop it. He's showing love. I'll give it. Josh Jacobs was awesome last year. That guy was awesome last year. So was Edrin Cooper. Hopefully, he doesn't get better. Pistons need to learn to close. That was unfortunate. But it was a good night outside of that for me. The Dubs won, or the weekend. Dubs won, Lakers lost. Felt pretty good. But that was awful. But look, they played them well, man. I thought the Knicks were going to be really rough for him. I thought that was going to be a rough matchup. So I'm actually optimistic going forward. If seeing them hang in like that, like I think they can get one. I think they could get the next one. San Fran should be bad this season. Should be. They should be. Well, we'll see. They got a lot of draft picks. They just haven't drafted well. If they draft well, it could change things quick. But they haven't drafted well, man. But if they if they come out this year, they need to get that right. They have the picks to do it. They have a ton of draft capital. And if they want to be aggressive, they could with where they're sitting at 11. They can move back. They could jump up. I don't know who they jump up for. Could you imagine them dude, taking a massive swing for someone at the top? But can our teams beat the Eagles and their tush push ability? Hey, hopefully that's gone. I think it might be gone. Yeah, not LeBron guy. Not LeBron guy. But in fairness, I'm not really a guy for anybody else. Like I only like there's only a few players that I like in the league. So that's kind of just it. Like it's like I'm not like a James Harden guy. Like there's, I'm not a Dame Lillard guy. Not a, it's like I have a few players I like, and that's pretty much it. So I don't have like a ton of, you know what I mean? So that's what that is. That's what that is. I like LeBron from the fact, though, it's fun. Like I like watching, the team that I'm rooting for face him. I think it adds an element. It's fun. I'd miss that when he retires. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of the fun when Rodgers was there. It's like, all right, he's annoying, but I do like playing him. There is an extra like, oh man, you get to beat Aaron Rodgers. Like there's something to that. So I always do enjoy that aspect of it. Even though you don't maybe root for the guy, you can enjoy it. Like in the time it's annoying, but afterward you're like, that was pretty cool. He added to what this was. Hope for Lillard's health. Looks like he's coming back. Fan is like tight end 9. Nah, he ain't tight end 9. He is not tight end 9. He was in our last video. I got Fannin up there. You'll see. Fannin's a little bit higher than that. Fannin gonna be a little bit higher than that. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see Fannin's up there a little bit. Is he above Mitchell Evans though? That's the question. That's really the question right now, Hungry Panda. That's the question you should be asking. Rodgers to the Vikings, Steelers, or couch? I think he's going to the couch. I'm going to be honest. I know the Steelers want him or whatever. They don't have an option. They're going to draft somebody. They'll draft somebody. I would send him to the couch, dog. Like, I wouldn't mess around with that. I wouldn't mess around with that, man. Andrew Armstrong. I haven't finished my stuff on Andrew Armstrong. That's why I haven't really talked about him too much here. He's one that I have to kind of dial in before I get these receiver rankings out. Because receiver's so much deeper. There's so many guys I want to hit on before I put the 15. Because there's going to be guys that I leave out that aren't in 15. So I'm trying to figure out if he's going to be in there or not. Lions just got to be 500 versus the elite quarterbacks. There you go. Fan at 102, Evans 186. I think Evans 196 would be a steal. I don't think that guy should go that far. I think his route running upside should keep him from going that far. Maybe Rodgers to the Colts. That'd be something. I just wouldn't sign him. I think he could make that work, though. The Colts coach could make it work. He made it work with Flacco. I just wouldn't sign him as a team. Like, I don't know why you would want to deal with that. And look, this isn't like I don't have hate for Rodgers off the field. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like there's no, I don't hate that he does podcasts or he does the McAfee show. I don't hate that. I listen to it. I would watch it. I don't hate that. He has his like takes on things. Like I'm cool with all that. I'm like, hey, that's cool, man. Do your thing, bro. Do your research, whatever. My thing is I just feel like when you have Rodgers is the offense. And I don't think that works. I think it can work to an extent. I just don't think it'll work to where you want it to go. And I think if you're a team that's trying to do it and like, yo, let's turn this thing around, that's not something I would do. I think that puts you that halts you for a year. I would just like, let's do this, take our bumps and let's go our own direction. I wouldn't go like that. I'm a little bit lower on Eurosec, but I understand why they would like him because he can run block. He can pass block too. He can block in both areas. And if you go back in 2022, he was super productive. Hasn't really been productive at all since that time. He can block, though. He can block. I'm a little bit more concerned about his receiving upside, but the guy can block, and he was a fun player to watch. He's not above Mitchell Evans for me, but on the Lions board, if he was, I don't think I'd be super shocked because I think they could lean a different style there, a different toughness element. He's also athletically. He tests out really well. I don't think it always showcases, but he does test well, too. So they could buy into the upside of what it could become. Yeah, that doesn't shock me, man. He'll be somewhere on our list. He'll be somewhere in there. That'd be a tough receiver. Wouldn't that be tough? And then you got to throw, you got to throw Brock Wright in there because he makes it work. I feel like Brock Wright makes that work, right? Put Brock Wright at fullback a little bit, let that guy go block, like, and Fannin will do the same thing. He'll lead block and do all that stuff too. But that group is tough. Yeboah could be the guy on the way out, which is fine, just fine because Yeboah's got a lot of things that aren't there yet. He's like a couple reception guy in his career. That's okay. Fedona Virosek. Yes, right now I do. Right now I do. All right. Could change, but right now I do. Trying to see if I was gonna get a. I don't know. I'll hit up easy and figure out what he wants to do time wise. I think I'm gonna leave it here though, chat. Try to finish stuff up. Would be my Isaiah Likely. Laporta would be my Mark Andrews. I'm not mad at that. I could see it. I remember loving Likely when he was coming out to Coastal because of the way that he would block, the way that he would block in space. I could see Fannin having some of that a little bit, a little bit. Um, yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, chat. I appreciate y'all joining, man. So Tuesday night I fly out, be landing in Milwaukee, driving to Green Bay. That night I'll be at a hotel. So worst case, I kind of maybe will do like a live stream. I'll just have to see when I get there. Maybe just chat, whatever's going on. Predictive mock should be out Wednesday. Not sure when that's going to drop exactly. I think at latest though, it's going to be for the Bleacher Report thing. So I may just put that in at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So that'll come out. And yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah. So that'll be the latest. That'll be the latest. So I want to try to get rankings tomorrow. Predictive mock Wednesday. And then we'll just kind of go from there, see what happens. Cool. All right, cool. And I appreciate y'all joining, man. I'll hit up Easy, see if he wants to try to make a mock shake at some point. But until then, appreciate y'all joining, man. Have a great night. And I'll see you guys soon. Go to Dose of Draft. It's in the community tab if you want to check that out. We haven't dropped anything over there yet, but that's where I'm going to start doing this year-round draft stuff. Is going to be over there. So if you like the draft stuff, just in general, that's the spot to be. And I'm thinking even after the draft, we'll maybe review some teams, be like, hey, how did this team do in the draft? Favorite picks, that kind of stuff, all that kind of stuff. We're out, though. I'll see y'all soon.